but once he finds a front, he's a very hard horse to get by. So, if we will be having a crack at the start, I'd say.
50-50, better or worse?
Better.
Woo! Good afternoon and good evening, good morning, whenever you might be watching the Burning Questions. This is the Victorian edition. We'll be having the Queensland edition a little bit later on, sponsored by Hip Pocket Workwear. I'll do my little new live read shortly. And we've got a brand new guest, Jimmy Herbertson, who has gone from the front seat of his car to the back because he thought he appeared too white. Are you like identifying as a Latina female? There's a lot of that these days, Herb. Do you not realise you're a red-headed, very white man, or is there some confusion over this?
Well, I am a red-headed white man, Jason, but I look like a very red-headed, very white man. So just trying to tone it down a little bit.
Now you look slightly flushed. I like this. You've got like a pinkish hue now. I don't know why there's such dramatic lighting differences between the front and back seats. We might get to that a little bit later on. And Andy Gath, now, I was redubbing you like Monkey Magic last week. There was a lot of work having to be done from my end, and I already do so much work. Have you driven the car into a better reception area this week?
I hope so, but last week I did sit under a tower, but it didn't actually work. I mean, an Optus tower, I'm guessing, but yeah, so hopefully it works this week.
You just drove to a tower. You didn't know which tower you were going to. You just thought, I'm going to get near a tower.
Well, it's the closest one to my house anyway.
Well, it sounds a lot better so far anyway. So we cross our fingers and cross our toes. Things stay good. And Skeeter, you look comfortable there. You look like you're all ready to roll. And we've got a big day coming up tomorrow as well.
Yes, ready to go, Bon. I'm staggered by the length that Andy has to try and get good reception. So hopefully it works this week.
Yeah, well, it worked last week, but just with a little extra help from his friends. Burning questions. Let's get stuck in, and then we'll start with Little Yankee. How good is Little Yankee, and can he conquer more season rivals from a perfect draw? Now, Love Bug, you're not a man given over to trash talk that often, but I remember writing in a form guide at some stage when you jumped on Little Yankee and you jumped off somebody else, and I think I just mentioned I was wondering why you'd done that, and then you hit back hard at me saying, J-Bon, you got no idea. Now do you realise why I was on Little Yankee? Well, I do now. Very good horse. Great win first up from a break. Will you be winning Saturday night?
Well, heading into Kilmore, he'd had two trials. The first one was in about 2:11, and the second one was in about 2:08. They went 2-2 that night from the stand at Kilmore, which isn't a very fast track. So for him to be able to win was a really good effort, I thought. We were hoping just to be able to keep up and do everything right and take some benefit from the run. So heading into Saturday night, again, look, it's a lot stronger race, don't get me wrong. But I'm interested to hear on what Andy says about his runner. I watched his trial at Melton. It seems to be that he's still pulling quite hard. So, I think whatever he does Saturday night, he will improve on. But the first up Kilmore run was very good.
Yeah, I was going to ask Andy about that. You don't have to lead me into what I have to do. I'm the host of the show, Love Bug. Just move that camera down a little bit. We want to see those pearly white teeth to contrast against that pinkish hue of your skin right now. Hey, Andy, this was a pretty obvious question. Majestic Hurricane, we know, has got a lot of ability, has a lot of gate speed. Do you expect to be finding the front and probably giving Little Yankee that gun run in transit in the first heat of the Winter Trotters Cup?
I'm pretty sure he'll lead. He does pull really hard. It's been his issue the whole time we've had him, but even at trials, he just goes really quick. So I'm expecting he'll lead. He's got better with each trial. It'll be a truly run race. He's a horse that probably, if you sort of fight him, he's probably worse. So you just sort of got to go with him a little bit. So I expect he's one of the winning chances because he's going to be on the fence, but it'll be a truly run race anyway.
All I know about your best bet is that it's not one of yours because you won't reveal any more than that to me off air. You say I've got to be surprised. So I'm guessing you think Majestic Hurricane certainly on ability can win, but you're not so confident that you're willing to declare him or anything like that on Saturday night.
No, definitely not. I still think he's, still probably a couple of runs away. He's quite a gross horse and needs a lot of work and a lot of racing. So, I think he'll improve off this run. He's still some chance because the fact he's going to be in front and obviously going to have a quality horse sitting on our back. But, he's quite a good ability, but he hasn't got the racing manners at this stage.
Just finally, the way the race is going to be run, you think Little Yankee might be a major danger?
I think so. With the sectionals that he runs, Majestic Hurricane, you sort of want to probably be on the fence, I'd say.
Skeeter, what are your thoughts on Little Yankee? I made it my best value. I make it the best value. I've got no prices to work with. So it might turn up $2.20, but I think it might be a reasonable price just because he's stepping up in grade. And with that gun run, everything I've heard here only probably gives me more confidence.
Yeah, I agree, Bon, with what both Herbert and Eddie have said. It looks like it is going to be Little Yankees race. Big step up in grade, I do agree with that. But given that Majestic Hurricane can get a little bit fired up, and Andy said it will be a truly run race, it might just be a little bit difficult for those back in the field, some of the class runners like Brownlow Prince, to get into the race. So, look, they're definitely winning chances, but I would not be surprised if a Little Yankee is able to get the sprint lane and get the job done.
Yeah, well, I've declared my hand best value on the card for mine, and even if it is $2.20, I still might be lured and tempted and seduced into having a bet. Andy, let's talk about Vandanta for the second week running. He did launch, led, and won comfortably at Beckley Park on what was a pretty unusual night back in the hometown, it has to be said, last weekend. But will he launch again? And if he does, will he find the front? I think there's a few drawn inside. You've got Diamonds and Cash first up from a break. How do you think the race is going to be run?
Yeah, no chance of arm this week with Vandanta. I just think being a smallish field and not 100% sure that he could cross them. And if he sort of used all his bullets early, he'd probably be in a little bit of pain. So, I'm only guessing, but I reckon they might go back early with him and just use his speed at the end. So, there's a fair bit of speed inside him. So even though he's got good gauge speed himself, I'm guessing they'll go back this week.
Diamonds and Cash. Any sort of hope? We were messaging yesterday, and you actually were sarcastic and said you can't get these horses to win at Metropolitan level first up from a break. I was pretty tired, so I didn't realise it was sarcasm. But anyway, we move forward from that. I wouldn't have thought so, but you can always tell me otherwise.
No, he's one that probably needs a few runs to sort of show his best. He's a really nice horse. Had a lot of injuries over the journey, but really happy with his work at home. He seems really good. He had an easy trial a couple of weeks ago, but I expect that he'd run a forward race, but he'd need a really nice trip to be winning the race.
Skeeter, I reckon they will launch with Vandanta. And it stays in my mind, Jack Law, that conversation we had in Mildura during the carnival where he said the two equal fastest horses he's ever driven off the gate are Aussie Battler and Vandanta. Now, Aussie Battler would cross this field. Struve gets that pretty well, but I think they'll have a crack for the front again, knowing how well he went last weekend.
No, going to disagree with you, Bon. I think they probably go back with the small field and the speed drawn inside. Check-in, obviously, got out of the gate really good last time out. Struve's inside. I think they'll be trying to lead with Struve. So small field, I think, aids him if he goes back. But there's no doubt he's racing in fantastic form. And I still think if they do go back, he's able to come with one run and get over the top of them. But, I tend to think they'll probably go back with Vandanta this week.
I think I was the only one siding with Vandanta last week, so it's okay. I don't mind being against everyone. Are you gonna stick with me, Love Bug? We've got a good relationship. Do you want to hold my hand here and we'll stick together, or are you going to go 3 versus 1?
Well, Jason, we are good mates, but I do agree. I think he's got the speed at the finish to be coming over the top hard. So Struve is a little bit vulnerable this week, whether he will be able to hold the lead. Bailey's on him first time. He's a bit. He's not an easy horse to drive. He's a bit touchy off the gate. So, there's a fair chance that he might get crossed at some point. But, I think Vandanta, I don't think they need to lead to win.
No, I don't think so either. I just think they will, but we'll find out. I feel like I'm being ganged up on pretty badly, it has to be said, but that's okay. That's not the first time it's happened in my life. Good to see Bailey McDonough coming across from WA to drive in Victoria, now working for Emma and Clayton. Now we move on to Soho Bollinger. This is a broader conversation, Love Bug. Winter Championship final. I just wonder whether Soho Bollinger will be able to get across and find the front comfortably here. Batman Barry's probably going to be his big issue. How do you see this race being run? Because the way the draws have landed under the PBD system, it's opened the race wide up, I reckon.
Yeah, it's an interesting race, really. He was able to bully his way to the front last week with Puppet on, but Puppet's chosen to drive Macklemore this week, which is interesting. So, I think they'll probably try and do the same, but if he has to do too much, I think he's vulnerable.
You have notes on that phone? It looked like you were reading off a script there for a moment, or just having a look at the fields. It's just having a look at the fields at the Love Bug. Skeeter, your thoughts here? I thought maybe he'd eventually get there, but might have to do enough work that it's going to bring a number of other horses into play.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Bond. So we're on the same page this time. I do think they'll go forward and try and find the top, but I just worry how much work he will have to do. And I think if he does have to do a stack, it is going to mean he's vulnerable late. But it's such a wide open race. Sometimes these heats into final, they're fairly easy to read, but this one definitely not the case. I think there's a number of winning chances and it's a really open affair.
I've gone all soft for a long time on Dennis Williams, so I'm hoping they do run along and he gets one last crack at them. I'm not sure that will happen. The situation actually doesn't look too bad for Tango Tara now. Andy, are you concerned that Soho Bollinger will be gifted a lead or will be able to get across with pure pace? And even if that's the case, you just feel that there's going to be a little bit more on here so that Tango Tara can make a move at the right time. And like there wasn't a lot between them last weekend.
No, it wasn't. Soho Bollinger went really good first up. He did get a really soft middle half, and horse outside him was quite kind to him. It was really just a dash up the straight. So obviously second up to Soho Bollinger. There's always a query of horses second up, 7 days apart in my mind, especially in metro racing. So whether he's as sharp as not, it's hard to say. But I think he'll have to be given the lead rather than just be too quick for him, in my opinion. So he's probably going to have to work pretty hard. But it's a really even field. There's a lot of winning chances. Obviously, Tango Tara is a winning hope, but outside the second row probably suits him a little bit if the speed's on. He's probably been an off-pace runner most of his life. It was probably been taking him out of his comfort zone a fair bit since he's been here. But to my mind, he's still the best horse in the race, but he'll need a little, he'll need a fast lead time to be a winning hope.
Give us the aggregated guide. Now, you've had Tango Tara for a little while. Who is he? Who are you, mate? Who is he?
Well, I think he's a quality horse, but again, he's the type of horse you'd put 3 fence in a Victoria Cup and he wouldn't lose ground. He'd keep up. We sort of drive to tempo most times, and he's probably not used to this style of racing, been burnt out the gate and been driven in the death seat a couple of times. But when he come with one run at Melton, he hit the line really good. So I think he's better driven off speed, but if you drive like that every week, you're not going to win many races.
Will he be as good as a horse like Three Ways down the track or not?
I think so. I think a little bit more depth than Three Ways. Three Ways was a really nice horse and sort of had to get on the fence to win races. He didn't win many races off the fence, but I think Tango Tara is capable of winning races off the fence, and I'm sure he's going to be a really good quality fresh horse going forward.
That's most interesting because you'd think he'd win the race if that's the case. Skeeter, final question of the Burning Questions Victorian edition this week, the final week of regional racing at Metropolitan level on Saturday nights. Torrid Saint, he's been a favourite cash cow of ours of recent times. Does he lead or trail in the Popular Arm sprint, and will he prevail?
He leads, and I think he wins this week on. I don't think there was anything wrong with his run at Geelong, obviously in the 1-1, and they walked, and Always Fast just made it a dash home. So I don't think there was anything wrong with that run. Over the mile this week, he does get out of the gate well, and he's drawn one. So I think he will be leading and winning.
Yeah, they were racing at the beach at Beckley Park last week. I don't think it was suited sit sprinters. I think if you wanted to really launch, it was pretty hard. So I'm willing to forgive that run from Torrid Saint. What are your thoughts here, Lovebug? Spoke to Paddy Lee on radio a little bit earlier on Trots Life, and he was less than forthcoming, suggesting that Code Bailey will be back to his best. So how do you think the race is going to be run and who'll win?
I think Torrid Saint can lead. I don't think he's the definite leader. He's not, like, from the pole around Kilmore, you can sort of get a bit of a run at it from out wide. So, I've got a lot of speed with Bonsall Benjamin. I'm sure I'll be having a crack at some point. But, I don't really rate Torrid Saint that highly. He's been racing well, but I just think there's a little bit more depth in the race than first look. So I might be wrong, but I don't think he's a definite winner.
When I got Lovebug on the show, I thought to myself, the only problem with Lovebug is he's so polite. He's not going to say in it. Like, he won't be declarative about anything, and he won't have a go at people's horses. Next minute, he's canning Torrid Saint. Just incredible stuff, staggering stuff. Do you think you're a reasonable chance of finding the front with Bonsall Benjamin if you said you're going to, have a crack at the start?
I think he's very quick horse, Torrid Saint, but we're very quick as well. So, it's just going to come down to timing and the horses on the night. But, I know my horse hasn't got the best figure form, but once he finds a front, he's a very hard horse to get by. So, if we will be having a crack at the start, I'd say.
50-50, better or worse?
Better.
Woo! Andy, food for thought. Have a munch on that, have a chew on that, have a masticate on that, and tell us what you think about the Popular Arm.
Well, I think they'll chance their arm with Better Be the Bomb. They haven't come out the gate this preparation. I think this is a race over the short that they'll probably chance their arm and see if he can lead.
They're coming from everywhere. I thought he'd probably lead and win. I don't like him as much in front, a little bit like the Vandanta situation. I don't think Torrid Saint's as good in front. It sounds like he might get absolutely hammered by a number of runners here in the early stages. Lovebug suggesting better than 50-50 chance of leading with Soho Bollinger. So that's intriguing. Before we get to the best bets, just quickly, are you going to use Lovebug, one that you're driving, as your best bet or not?
No, I don't think so. There's, the ones I'm driving probably need a bit of luck and things to go their way. But best bet I'd say is Emma's mare later on, Nikki Louise. From the pole, I don't think she can get beat against that field. The way she went at Bendigo under the circumstances was incredible. So I think she's the best bet, yeah, for sure.
And is Little Yankee clearly the best of your winning chances on Saturday night?
Yeah, I would say so, yes.
You got a few. You just never know. Launching off the arm with Soho Bollinger. She's a gem, goes okay in the last. Boy from Bondi's got ability, so who knows? A Lovebug, he can walk on water these days. Skeeter, we have to do the drum roll on the big build up to Andy's best bet. So what's yours for the night?
Well, yeah, mine's actually Nikki Louise as well. I thought she was outstanding at Bendigo last time out, where she copped a fair bit of pressure. They went a really quick first half, and she was still too strong at the end. So I think she will be from gate one really, really hard to beat.
Yeah, I thought if she cops a bit of pressure that she's a hovercraft can beat her. But anyway, she's the best bet from a couple of our experts here. Andy, best bet, not one of yours, but who is it?
No, I like tipping horses that got bad figure form, as you know, but I'm going race one because I know your best bet's in race ones, but I'm going against you. I'm going with I'm No Outlaw.
Yeah.
Huge drop down in class, and over the short course, I just think it'll be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, just quickly, because I normally write 5 or 6 burning questions and then get rid of a couple. I think I'm No Outlaw will have a crack for the front. He'll re-engage his gate speed here, Andy.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It's a huge drop down in class for what he's been racing, and I just think it's not a very fast front row, and I think he can find the top.
Do you both agree with that? Skeeter first at I'm No Outlaw. There's no speed off that front row. I know he doesn't use it these days, but he's dropping down a long way, as Andy mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. I think over the mile they will be going forward, and I agree with Andy. I think it's definitely a race that he can win, dropping in grade.
My best bet for the night is going to be Sheffield Sparky in the same race. A little bit worried. Jodie Quinlan spoke to her on radio today, and she said they've backed off him over the last few days, and he's put on a little bit of pork like myself over the last few days, but he's a very good horse. They're talking about him being a free-for-aller, and if he is a free-for-aller of the future, you'd think he should be winning a race of that nature, but I thought there were a few good bets across the card, Little Yankee being my best value, but we've got to wait for the prize to come out. Now, I have forgotten to mention our sponsors, and it's just so important that we do. Whether you're celebrating or shoveling up after your superstar horses, you want your stable staff to look their best. And you can do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety, which has you covered for clothing and protective equipment. Well done to all involved. Great start, Lovebug. You're going to have to go back to the front seat. Just don't, if people look at you weird while you're driving around because you look so white, it's okay, mate. You look perfect in the shade that you're in right now. You've done a good job.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Good on you, Andrew. I didn't hear anything back from Andrew. He's obviously angry with me for some reason. No,
I can't hear you, J-Bond, sorry.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. The towers worked a hell of a lot better than the one last week, so I think overall it's been a win. Well done, Skeet. I'll be catching up with you very soon for the Queensland edition of Burning Questions, and we've got a big day tomorrow, as mentioned, recording that Gordon Rothacke medal and also the Friday form panel.
We do, looking forward to a big couple of days, Bon.
Well done all. That's Burning Questions, Victorian edition. Andrew Patrick Gath, Jimmy the Lovebug Herbertson, Nikkita Ross and J-Bond signing off.